Well, folks, it's finally happening. After the success of the Nut tier list and the only in-name sequel, the Nut Taste Test, I guess I'm becoming a full-time nut YouTuber. And there's a very tragic event occurring in the nut world. See, the Planters mascot, Mr. Peanut, has unfortunately passed away. Everyone's apparently making a big deal out of this. I don't know. In case you're not on the loop, though, let's together watch the commercial where Mr. Peanut fucking dies. Alright, right off the bat, we have this disclaimer at the bottom: don't drive like a nut. Professional driver on closed course, do not attempt. That is so corny, I already want to off myself, but we will continue regardless. Okay, one thing you're gonna notice is that the action in this commercial happens way too damn fast. Like one frame, they're swerving around the armadillo, and the next, they're flying out of the back of the peanut mobile, and then they're hanging on a branch. Like everything happened just way too quickly. It's not clear how exactly these things link to each other. Maybe they'll show another cut of this commercial where everything makes more sense. I don't know, but this just seems a bit ridiculous to me. Alright, hold up. I have to see for certain whether I'm crazy or not. Alright, so let's look very closely. Alright, abandoned nut. Alright, right here. We see the cliff that they fall off of. There's no tree branch there. But if we then resume, they're hanging off of this tree branch, and you can tell by the distance that this isn't far below where the camera was in the previous shot. So where did this tree branch come from? Is this a continuity error, or am I supposed to believe that the tree branch spontaneously grew sometime between the last frame and this one? I don't know. It just seems a bit unprofessional to me. Let's continue. Oh no, Mr. Peanut. Oh. Oh. Oh man. Not Mr. Peanut. Alright, so basically that's the end of the commercial. There's no Planters logo anywhere in this commercial. They don't advertise any product. It's literally just Mr. Peanut has died. Here you go, consumers. Now, obviously, I'm a bit skeptical about this whole thing. I don't see why it matters. This is a corporate mascot that's a fictional character. It's not, like, I mean, they can do whatever they want with this character. It's not like Mr. Peanut dying has any effect on anything ever. Tomorrow, they might as well revive him and everything would go back to normal. Like, it's a fictional corporate mascot that doesn't have any other sort of lore attached to him. I don't understand why anyone would make any big deal out of this whatsoever. And actually, I'm not the only one who thinks that. If we actually look back at the commercial real quick. Alright, so here's where they're contemplating who should fall off, and then Mr. Peanut obviously decides to sacrifice himself. No! I mean, did you hear that? They were like, oh no, my beloved friend Mr. Peanut has unfortunately decided to sacrifice himself for our own good. Oh man, I can't believe you've done this, Jim. Like, there's no enthusiasm whatsoever. There's no sadness. There's no passion. Matt Walsh and Wesley Snipes really phoning it in on this one. I don't think Planters gave them enough money for this role. Now, I am bashing this commercial and I'm making fun of the absurdity of it all, but to be honest, I do think this is a really good marketing strategy for Planters because, like, think about it. As internet trolls have proved throughout the years, what is the best way to live rent-free in someone's head? That's right, you do something extremely stupid. And the stupidity of this whole entire charade sort of makes it so that everyone's talking about it. Like, all these journalists are coming up with articles about Mr. Peanut's death, and I'm making a video about it, so I'm obviously falling for whatever scheme they have going on here. I mean, it's really pretty brilliant when you think about it. So hats off to planters. I think they did a good job with this, in all honesty. Now, the important part about all this is where do we go from here? Reportedly, they're going to show this commercial during the pregame show on Super Bowl Sunday, and some other point during the game, I forget exactly when, they're supposed to show the actual funeral of Mr. Peanut. Now, maybe this will just be like sort of we're changing the way we're marketing our product, but here's a remembrance of this mascot we've had for 104 years. Like, it's gonna try to be genuinely emotional. However, I don't think that's gonna happen. Here are my two sort of predictions of how this could actually go down on Super Bowl Sunday as the 49ers destroy the Chiefs. So the first one is, notice how, if you look very closely in the commercial, Mr. Peanut dies in an explosion. So, what if Mr. Peanut actually survived this explosion? He would be a bit charred up, would he not? Boom. Planters, deep roasted baked peanuts. Get them while they're hot. You know, something like that. Basically, they take Mr. Peanut, they tan him up a little, and now he's selling their new roasted peanuts. I don't know if they already have roasted peanuts actually, but maybe there's a new product coming out that emphasizes the fact that they're toasted a bit more. So Tanner Mr. Peanut shows up to his own funeral and everyone is shocked, and then they all guzzle down on some planters. That's method number one of saving this whole debacle. Method number two is a bit more bizarre, and I don't think it's as likely to happen, but it could. So Mr. Peanut will actually die in this scenario, but in the afterlife, he's watching up from heaven, and beside him, there are a bunch of other retired food mascots. You know, you have like the Noid and that blue fish on the tuna. You know, those food mascots are all watching from heaven, seeing Americans chow down on all their mediocre products and just living it up from the heavens. And the message, of course, is enjoy heavenly planters nuts. That's way number two. I can see this playing out. I think that would be kind of cool, actually, because, you know, the Super Bowl commercial landscape is essentially the most distilled commercialism like ever. To see a corporation sort of try to pass this off as something heartwarming, to see a bunch of other corporate mascots all in one spot sort of celebrating, quote unquote, the past 50 something years of blatant and terrible commercialism that has plagued the Super Bowl. I think that would be pretty fitting, to be honest with you. So if this happens, I just wouldn't be shocked. So those are my main two predictions, but how do you think Planters is going to resolve this? What do you think is going to happen during the Mr. Peanut funeral commercial? Let me know in the comments below, and if you guess correctly, like if you are just spot on and you know exactly how this is going to go, I will send you a package of Planters peanuts, I guess. You just have to get it correct in the comments, and we'll go from there. I'll send you the peanuts. The nuts will be coming your way. But guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. Honestly, like, oh no, Mr. Peanut is dead. Like, I just can't bring myself to care about it any more than this. So, I'll see you guys next time with hopefully a more relevant video. Take care, everyone.